Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Former fighter, now commentator Paulie Malignaggi rips Canelo'S for his failed drug test. Stay tuned. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Shout out to IFL TV. Link is in the description. They conducted an interview with Paulie Malignaggi. The always fun, the always animated, the always outspoken Mr. Magic Man Malignaggi. And they were asking him about this whole ordeal with Golovkin rematch. It looks like it's in shambles. Does he believe the drug test? I'm gonna read some quotes from him. And Paulie said this: I think they should probably suspend that fight for 6 months and strictly drug test Canelo the whole time. Even if he's passed the drug test now, he'll still pass clean, but he's getting the benefits of the steroids and the PEDS that he was taking. If you delay the fight for 6 or 7 months and make it in December and strictly drug test the whole time, that way you let the stuff clear out of his system and maybe he'll get less benefit from it, and then you can have a fight. I didn't see a problem with that. But if you're going to put up these suspensions just to save face, because that's all this is to me. So he sounded a little bit skeptical, and he also said in this interview maybe the Nevada State Athletic Commission will do what's right, and he definitely thinks a suspension is needed in this situation with Canelo, despite the meat test. Paulie goes on to say, if they fight on May 5th, then the whole temporary suspension was just to save face. Because of Golovkin, if he gets hurt or killed in the fight, you're obviously got the government will be looking at you. This guy failed a drug test and you let him fight. You still let him fight. People go to jail for that, let alone get sued. I think this is just a saving face type of suspension. I don't think they can let him fight at this point. He goes on to say, they asked, do you believe Canelo's meat story about tainted meat and the clenbuterol was from the ranchers who injected in the cattle and it wasn't something he ingested? Paulie goes off. He was like, fuck no, I don't believe it. And he was like, what am I, retarded? Like I said, make him wait it out 6-7 months and give him the fight under the right circumstances. I'm starting to think the commission will do the right thing. We'll see. Hopefully they can schedule the fight in December. So he's not buying it at all. He said if you have the fight on May 5th, even though he passed the drug test, he's still benefiting from the doping. So, not a good look. I mean, Canelo, there's some serious damage control needed, because Golovkin said virtually the same thing. You got an animated as Paulie Malignaggi saying the same thing. They don't believe him. They think he's dirty. And this is whether it's at the point where whether his story is true. Let's just say it's true. I'm not saying this is what I believe. I'm just saying hypothetically. You got top names like Golovkin and Paulie Malignaggi, whose boxing opinion on the sport is well respected. That's why Showtime has him cast as a commentator. You know what I mean? So either way, it still doesn't look good for Canelo. You know what I mean? When you got these high profile names and they're all coming down saying, nah, he's dirty. Fuck no, he was on something. You know what I mean? What am I, retarded? And it's not even just there. Eddie Hearn, I seen an interview. Eddie Hearn said the same thing. He was like, look at his transformation. Everyone should be suspicious. It's not looking good for Canelo. Like I said, there's a lot of Billy Joe Saunders ripped him. A lot of people talking. Terrence Crawford did an interview, said it looks fishy, but he don't know. You know what I mean? So at first I was like, they might just be doing the temporary suspension, but this is getting so much traction and so many headlines. I think they might actually suspend him now. And that wasn't my initial standpoint. I didn't think they would do it because it's a big money fight. But now that the Nevada State Athletic Commission, this is not Francisco Vargas versus Orlando Salido, a little small fight at the StubHub that you could sweep under the rug and, you know what I mean, no one's going to pay attention to, oh, hey, the main event, dude failed a drug test. This is Canelo'S, a guy who's been in there with legends like Floyd Mayweather, Miguel Cotto, and just had a big controversial fight that made waves with Gennady Golovkin last September. So I think, to be honest, I think there's going to be too much pressure on the Nevada State Athletic Commission to not suspend him, because if they just push the fight through, then it's going to look like Canelo runs Vegas and he's above the law. So I've just seen it with corporations and big businesses and stuff where they'd rather just disappoint people, fans, whoever has to lose money. It's in the system just for transparency and just to keep everything uniform. So people, because I said this was one of the problems. If they let the fight continue, then it opens a floodgate for future fighters to use the same excuse. And fighters have been doing it. With Lucas Brown, he said he was innocent. Eric Morales said he was innocent, didn't know clenbuterol's in the system. Francisco Vargas. And it just so happens that Canelo is the biggest guy. He's the biggest guy with the most momentum that has been busted for this and pissed dirty with the clenbuterol or drug test or blood or whatever. And now the spotlight's on him. You know what I mean? People didn't even know Lucas Brown tested positive for clenbuterol, the guy that just got knocked out by Dillian White. So it's like they almost have to make an example. And like I said, at first I was like, nah, it's so much money, they're not gonna do that. But I think Golden Boy is probably like, fuck, and looking for other options because they know that it's not looking good. But Paulie brings up good points about people cycle on and off things, and I don't want to get too deep, you know what I mean, but people cycle on and off, because I know some people who have used just regular type steroid anabolic stuff for like bodybuilding shows and different stuff like weightlifting competitions and whatever, and they cycle on and off. So Paulie's right in terms of if you use something and then you stop taking it and then you flush your system out, then yeah, it might not show in your most recent VADA test, but you still might have the gains from it. You get what I'm saying? Like, for example, if Ronnie Coleman's on steroids, like let's just say HGH, right, or some kind of anabolic steroid, just because he cycles off, he's not going to just all of a sudden shrivel up like a raisin. You know what I'm saying? It's not the Wicked Witch of the West where she's under the house and her legs shrivel up. You know what I mean? He'll still be able to lift. It doesn't just immediately disappear and dissipate. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, it's probably better that this fight does happen later. And like Paulie's saying, he brings up a good point. Just keep drug testing. And if it's cleared out of his system and he hasn't failed any other drug tests, then you make the fight for later in the year. But man, hate to see this in a high profile fight. I like Canelo as a fighter too. I don't know if he's guilty or not, but there's definitely reason to be suspicious. Either way, like I keep saying, it's not a good look when you have the Eddie Hearns of the world, Terrence Crawford, the different people like Billy Joe Saunders, Golovkin, and they're all screaming on Canelo like guilty, guilty, guilty. This looks fishy. I don't know. I don't trust it. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's been other people where they're just like, I don't know, looking shaky. So let me know if you think this fight will get canceled. And another thing is, like, even hypothetically, even if Nevada State Athletic Commission doesn't cancel it, the hearing is on April 18th and the fight's on May 5th, and HBO has suspended the promoting of the fight. So I feel at this point it's just cutting it too close for this big of a fight for them to all of a sudden just start dropping, okay, Canelo's clear, and then April 19th, you're going to drop a face-off and drop a 24/7, and you have no HBO boxing fights on that particular day. You know what I mean? You have Danny Jacobs would probably be the next one, Danny Jacobs versus Seletsky, so you would be able to promote it on that fight, but that's like probably like a week before fight week. You know what I'm saying? So it just, everything sounds pretty fucked up for this fight. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with Paulie Malignaggi? But everyone seems to be ripping Canelo. Hopefully this is a lesson to other athletes. You know what I mean? You got to be cautious about what goes in your body, period. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.